Slavery in Britain, scandal of 13,000 captive workers. Slaves in the UK are living like animals and are threatened with murder if they try to escape. About 13,000 Brits are working up to 115 hours a week for no money after being targeted by crime gangs. Anti-trafficking campaigner Megan Stewart has warned that homeless people hooked on drugs and drink are most at risk. She said, "Obviously it costs money to come in from Europe to the UK. Why bring people in when they're already here at the soup runs? The more vulnerable they are, the more likely they are to be targeted. That's what they want, someone that's not going to be missed." Slavery is said to be rife in every town and city in the UK. Worldwide the trade makes £120 billion a year. Megan said, "This is organized crime on a scale the world hasn't seen before. Drugs are a huge industry. But you can only sell drugs once. People can get sold over and over and over again." Mark Hovenden opens up about his own horrifying descent into slavery in a new documentary. He had hit rock bottom when he was targeted in Bournemouth in 2009. He said, "I was heading up to the soup kitchen and there was a guy parked outside. He asked if I was looking for a job and said he could throw in accommodation and 3 meals a day, and I thought, why not? So I went with him." Mark was taken to the Greenacres Traveller site near Leighton Buzzard, Beds, owned by Tommy Connors. Speaking on Channel 4 show The Modern British Slavery Trade, he said, "The other workers at the site were living in a horse box. It would have been about 8 living in a horse box, which had wooden bunks built into the side. You've seen pictures of the concentration camps, the long tunnel-like barracks. And it was like that inside. Mark's own clothes, ID, keys and valuables were taken away by those holding him." He said, "There was one outside cold water tap for the workers to use. Most of them hadn't showered for a couple of months at least. There was one outside toilet that didn't work." Evil Connors forced his slaves to do block paving work for his business. But while he was living a luxury lifestyle, he paid the men nothing. Mark said, "I was definitely kept a prisoner. There weren't locked gates or bars or anything like that. But it was made very clear that if I was to go out, if I tried to leave, the consequences would be pretty grave. I'd seen them punch people, kick people and threaten people's lives. You don't really see escape as an option. You know that wherever you go you're going to be found. Here I am some 120 miles away from home. I didn't have any money in my pocket. I didn't have any reason to believe the authorities would take me seriously if I went to them. So where was I meant to go?" Mark was finally rescued in 2011 with more than 20 other men. Connor and 4 members of his family were later jailed after being found guilty of modern-day slavery. His cousin Billy was also jailed for holding men as slaves on a site in Gloucestershire for as long as 30 years. The slaves there scavenged for food, were beaten with metal bars and were hosed with cold water. A 2-year investigation into modern-day slavery by Channel 4 also highlighted how it is rife in nail salons across Britain. The Modern British Slave Trade is on Tuesday at 10 p.m. on Channel 4.